Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
She has so much insight on just about anything you could ever talk about. She's a Heyoka, a healer. She has intuitive ability. She's a card reader, and she's back with us today. Janis Reed on the program. Happy New Year, Janis.
Oh, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Aren't we glad it's a new year and not still the same old year?
I honestly am. I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like I took a shower, like I feel refreshed.
I'd love to take a shower. Our pipes were frozen and our pump seems to be busted, and so I've not had a shower. I'm so glad we're long distance. I'm starting off this year remembering last year.
All right.
So thought I
What
might talk a little bit about that kind of venue. I'd like to talk about some reincarnation stories. Could we do that today?
I would love to, and I've also thought about that many times in terms of past lives. Does it
Mm.
really exist? I have an open mind, and some people may listen and watch and think, oh, that's all foo-foo stuff. I don't know. I'm always open. Show me the way, show me the truth, show me the proof. And with that reincarnation stuff, then the karma word comes in. So,
Oh, you're getting ahead of me now.
all right,
You're
all
going to
right,
tell
tap the
all my
brakes,
secrets.
tap the brakes, tap the
Goodness,
brakes.
goodness
Reincarnation
gracious.
in the Janus
All
world,
right.
does it exist?
I want to, first off, reincarnation is happens to us every morning. We wake up, dang it, it's a brand new day, and what fuels and gets us going for today is what fed us yesterday, what we got fed and fueled with.
Hmm.
So reincarnation in Janus world could be from yesterday, last week, or 10,000 yesterdays ago in some other past time space. Occasionally, maybe not even completely on this particular planet. I had the good luck. One of my neighbors was Henry Leo Bulldog. He did reincarnation hypnotherapy conferences for about 10 years.
Huh.
And he and my husband got together and they said, well, let's shove Janis in there. We'll find a place for her. So Henry would do these wonderful conferences. Hundreds of people would come. We'd meet up in this little town in Southwest Virginia and spend a week remembering history, personal history, not things from last week, but remembering things all the way through before our birth in this life space to life spaces we imagine came before it. I'm going to use imagine liberally here because I don't want any bad notes coming at me in the mail. For me, it was a godsend. What I did was I massaged and put people physically back into a working semblance of order after they'd had their heads blown off all day long, remembering history that they didn't know they had. But people would find out why they had that cleft foot or why they had a propensity for this or that flavor, location, type of work, general attitude in the world. When I worked with Henry Leo, I was able to be regressed. I was the subject. I was the innocent person who was going to be regressed by people who were learning how to help other people recall these deep, deep-seated memories. It drew my attention because of my own memories as a child. So eventually I took the class as well. And then I took the extra class and became a hypnotherapist myself to do this marvelous work. It's something to be done in person rather than on the phone because there's a lot of physical tics that can happen during this therapy session that the person conducting it needs to be really aware of. It's not something I would do on a phone call. Things can happen. One of my regressions was interrupted because my head was starting to turn too far to the left. I had experiencing or was experiencing in my imagination at that time, falling, drunk as I could be, hitting the bathroom sink, breaking my neck on the way down, and my body was responding.
Oh,
much like it did when I recalled being crucified. That was no fun either. So twice in my regressions, my physical current self mimicked what happened then to a degree that it appeared to be dangerous for me now. So I've been kicked around a few times.
But I've
That
often heard the
happens.
same thing, Janice, that if you're going to do a past life regression, that you don't do it virtually. You don't do it by phone
Mm-mm.
with somebody because it can things can happen. It can get very emotional too.
Oh, yeah. One lady, we snatched this poor waitress out of the dining room and convinced her she wanted to come and be regressed, to be practiced on, to just see it was a free shot if you were going to be the volunteer. So she volunteered. She actually, prone on the bed, levitated about 6 inches up off of the bed. The two people in the room with her looked at each other from underneath her body. Totally unexpected. So you need to do these things in person. You never know what's going to come up. Lucky for me, I got to be regressed 30, 35, maybe 40 times in the space of 10 years, plus the years previously that I had already practiced this therapy with other people. I have eventually I collected a long line of storylines that, as Henry taught us, to kind of try to put it in a chronological order at some point to see kind of how you were fed and fueled for your future. Just like we would do today, we practice and study so we'd be ready for tomorrow. So when these stories popped up, I had some real issues. So I'd like to tell you a story now about myself, and it has to do with reincarnating and remembering, recollecting your total bin of knowledge. True
Hmm.
power is remembering your total knowledge. Some of that knowledge came before you were born this time. It came through your past lives. Maybe it came through your mother's genetic bloodstream. And it was the memories that you think you have are results of emotional trauma your mother went through. But in any case, any kid can imagine that they used to be a pirate. Maybe she was a ballerina. Maybe he was a king. Maybe she was queen or soldiers. Young children are prone to act like who they used to be because that's what they remember. That's what, so they come in wanting to recreate the last life. In my case, the story is long ago, there was a great storm. I and my people lived on boats then. We lived on the sea, moving from one land to another. There was this great storm, and we were close to rocks near the land. We crashed our little boat. Some of us did not make it to the land. Some of us did. I did. I, with my unborn child, and several other people, made it to land. The rest of our people, seeing what had happened to us, just let us remain on the land, and they took off back to the safety of the sea, away from the rocks, and left us there, abandoned. Eventually, I gave birth, and other women gave birth, and we recolonized a place with no people. Great lizards, dinosaurs, you'd call them. We lived among them and lived and survived them. We put our consciousnesses in places they would be safe when the earth changes came again. Through a time and more and more bodies were built and made. And those of us who first came to the land rejoiced, and we were glad to see that the people could survive on land as easily and as well as they could have on the sea. As I reincarnated time after time, as we all did, to try to enjoy more and more of the land, we would come and our systems, our spirits would come and sit quietly on the shoulder of the children. We'd guide them and watch them, taught them where the sweet waters were. where the good grass was, where safety lay, where it didn't. We trained our people to become great leaders, and they did. So now, in this current life, periodically, I run up against the body of what was once one of my children in that far ago, long away place. I see them and I recognize a lot of people because I've lived a long time this spirit of mine in my story. In my imagination, I know all of you. I've seen all of you. Like a voyeur, I've sat upon many of your shoulders, watched you live your life, encouraged you to be your best, held your hand when you failed, rejoiced when you grew. Through these ambitions to watch my children prosper, I've lived many lifetimes. I've had many experiences. You ask why I'm so smart. I remember. I came into this life space remembering. I came in out of touch with other people, totally sounding like a crazy child. And I grew up developing these memories because these were the things that were real to me. And then the past life regression hypnotherapy came and it was like, I found home, I went home. I did go home. During one regression, I looked up and saw this golden staircase with a golden rope coming down it, frayed at the ends. And there were strands missing, but I followed it all the way up to my home in the stars. The last on the left, that was my digs. That was my place of memory of beginning that I can't remember further back from. But from that place in the heavens, down the stairs, moving through the different twists and turns of DNA, I live now in this body skin, again here to mother and encourage my children. That's pretty much everybody. That y'all can do good. We are good people. We are survivors because we learn to get along. We learn to cut our losses and look forward. In this life space, I fell in love with Pakal, another great warrior I gave birth to long ago. I was drawn to marry a man, strong and powerful, who loved the people darn near as much as I did. But like him, I am not the mother figure now that I was at the beginning. He is not Pakal. We are two old people living in the mountains trying to get along as we age. But as we age, whereas my memories are coming because I ask to remember, his are coming quicker and more slipperier than we would like. And so now, one of the things I will do this year is to hold the hand of a great, powerful leader as he learns humility, as he learns to rely on the help of others, as he learns to be helped instead of the helper. This is going to be a tough year for me. And that's with all of the memories I have of having successfully survived all sorts of situations. This is the one I'm afraid of, though, because this one is connected to my heart. Still, today, presently, it isn't a memory from the past. When I fell in love with him, I didn't know he was Bacall, even though he looks just like him. I just knew he was somebody I needed to be with. We do these things. We are drawn to the people that we just need to be with. We can rejoice in our differences. The tricky part is when the memories from the past begin to creep up and overtake today. I've been to several psychologists, psychiatrists, worried to death I've just lost my mind with these memories. So I tell stories. The way to get along in the world today, I am not the mother of the world. I am one of her children. I'm here with problems, people issues, pains, aches, and joys. So as we recreate a new year in front of us, as I recreate a new history between me and Pakal, I see it as a great opportunity. It scares me to death. I'm just shaking thinking about it. But it's a great opportunity to learn this most powerful thing we could ever learn, to be humble before God. It's a pretty good opportunity this year. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So I
It's
have
going to stretch.
lots of questions. Can I ask? Or a
Oh,
few, or a
do,
few.
because I think the channel has stopped. We shut up now. Go ahead.
Well, when we talk about past lives regression, do you feel that if you dealt with a situation in a past life, maybe a trauma, and then you come into another life, reincarnated, do you bring that with you?
You
That
bring that
stuff
emotional baggage.
you
The
do.
emotional baggage comes with you. As soon as you reconfront it, this is a way cool story about one of my neighbor kids. He's a grown man now, and so okay, Lee, I'm talking about you. Lee was a little kid when his mom and dad, they all went to the fireworks 4th of July. And one year he was just of a certain age when it just made him want to duck and cover. It freaked him out. He screamed. He had to hide. Loud noises just suddenly bothered the doublings out of him. His mother was smart enough to listen to him and managed to get a story out of him that once he told it, he never was afraid of the fireworks again. The child had been in battle. He remembered blasts, cannon blasts, and musket blasts from the Civil War. In fact, in his regressed memory, he remembered being shot in his wrist. Today, he has a little mole on his wrist where the bullet had gone in this previous existence. The memory of that being shot in the wrist left a physical impression on his body even today. So that was many generations ago. He did.
I just
Proof
want to, I
that.
want to share this with everyone because
Okay, blast.
this, what you just said, I, I spoke with somebody who's a very good hypnotherapist and does past life regressions. And she told me, and there's a reason I'm bringing this up, and it's to illustrate what you just said. She told me that she once worked with a gentleman and said, "Yeah, I'm getting, from a previous life that you were shot in the back. Like it's like vivid. I think it was like
Mm-hmm.
1800s. Like you got shot." And he goes, "I can't believe you said that because I have reoccurring back issues right here, and it's where she
Mm-hmm.
said where it was." And
Yeah.
and like you just said, with the mole from something, gunshot or whatever it might be, continued. So followed him along, followed those two people along.
Yeah. Yeah. So the traumas and also the memories of success follow us through. The little kids that can sit down and 3 years old and they can barely reach the keyboard, but they're playing Bach on the
Hmm.
piano. Just blows
Hmm.
me away. I met a 2-year-old once in Greece. She spoke 19 languages. She was 2 years old, but she was just a linguist. For me, I kept the stories of the tribe. So I'm a storyteller. I wanted to nurture my tribe. I work as a healer. I
Hmm.
wanted to be honest. Dishonesty is what kills things. So I needed to be honest.
Yep.
So I'm Heyoka.
Well, you're a record keeper because if you didn't do that job, Janice, a lot of the things that took place, nobody would know, nobody would remember. Wasn't like there was a cell phone around. Hey, let me write that down, take a picture. It was up
Well,
here.
but that's it. If the memory is there on a cellular level and we don't talk about it, our bodies can get gimped up. I have no waistline. I'm about 6 inches shorter from my hips to my rib cage than every other human in the world. It's like I sit down in my I had an experience that was so traumatic. I have yet to been able to figure out exactly what happened. That the middle of my section of my body is gone. I'm very short waisted, they call it. What happened that my physical body came out missing this part in the middle? Um, but I know that it is a physical leftover trauma from having my middle taken away from me. I have been the priest as often as I have been the altar. Let your mind explore that and you'll understand. I've been the whore, and I've been the harlot, and I've been the priest and the priestess and the teacher. I've tried on all the shoes. Yeah, I like my moccasins.
Because they're
The
comfortable.
best.
Because they're comfortable.
They're very comfortable, yes. And they don't leave a big mark behind me anymore. So this new year is coming up, and everybody's going to be, how do I be my best? My story has a plan. I came prepared with a plan as well as a story. As the light of the year is returning and the moon is almost full again, this is especially a good time for this. As you go to sleep at night, let your mind just sort of float and go back over the things that you have accomplished and the things that you missed out on. Anything that you blame on anybody else, that's something you still have to work on that, because it all comes back to blaming ourselves. It's our blame, it's our fault, it's our joy, it's our conquest. Our lives are our creation, according to how we see them, not always according to how they are. See, I look pretty good in a camera, but if I stood up, I'd only come up to your knees. We learn to present our best parts and do the best we can. If we want to grow forward, then we cannot do that with malfeasance or fibs or lies or reconstructions. We have to face the truth for what it is. Mostly, nature gives us poor memories because she loves us. Mostly, we should let our memories be in the history and in the past. But sometimes when trauma comes and we hide it so good, maybe for thousands of years we hide it, but it comes out with a head that's too big for the shoulders and, more hair than 6 people could grow. We come out with these little limps and weird things and propensities. We don't think about why we're good at stuff, but we get aggravated when we're not so good at stuff. So as the year unfolds and the light comes back, the days are getting longer. We have shorter nights. So as you crawl into bed, let God take away all of the daytime troubles that you had. Ask for a tour of history and expect a tour of history. You might pick up, what happened at the water cooler that morning, but it's still history. Develop a rapport with yourself, with your dreams. That area, those few moments just before you lose consciousness and pass out and go to sleep, as well as their mirror, those little moments of not really sure if I'm awake or asleep, and I don't want to open my eyes yet because I got this dream going on. During those two spaces, every day, each one of us is in the same hypnotic, trance-like state that I go into when I do a past life regression for myself. When someone else leads you in a past life regression, they lead you through a blue mist, Henry liked to call it, or a curtain, and it transitions you from here to then. When you go to sleep at night and you tell yourself bedtime stories, ask for some good ones of your own history. And just go to sleep knowing that somewhere out there, some angelic voice will answer you. Maybe it's yourself telling your future, which is now from beyond.
I'm glad you
How
said that.
things,
I'm glad you said that. I really am. Because
thank you. Do tell why.
because I don't feel that we ask for what we truly need. And
Mm-mm.
Either if you ask for a sign, a symbol, maybe it's for comfort, whatever it might be, or just before you go to bed, ask, I'd like to, I need clarity on a situation. Can you please bring it to me, universe, whoever,
Hmm.
whatever you
It's
believe in,
fine.
spirit, whatever, or just bring me a positive feeling or thought or story in my mind as I go to sleep. And I think more times than not, if you're open to receiving it, you're going to get it. You're going to get it.
There was a song when I was a little kid. Mr. Sandman, send me a dream.
Hmm.
You know, we need to ask for that more often to send us a dream. We can daydream, but it's probably not a good thing to get into a habit of. You'll do it behind the steering wheel of your car and run into something. That place just as we go to sleep, just before we wake up. Try to remember, see if you can remember what you're thinking of, dreaming of as you wake up in the morning. Make a little note. Put a piece of paper and a pencil by your bed.
Journal.
Just make little scribbles.
Yeah.
Wake up in the middle of the night and write down your dreams.
We don't do it. And because we think we're so superior sometimes, I'll remember it. I'll remember it in the morning. I'm going back to bed.
Mhm. Here's
I
the
don't.
thing.
I
Yeah.
don't remember 'em.
When we do that, and I forget it too. This is why I'm so smart about it because I do it myself. It's us against the creator of all things. Who is going to win?
Hmm.
It's usually not me. And apparently I was a great mother at some point, mother. But we uh, we often think that spirit should do as we say. I see a lot of that going on now. I could do with a lot less of that.
Well, you can't make it.
And
You can't make it do certain things, but you can certainly ask for
no,
clarity. Some answers, and I
yes,
do believe you get them. Uh, I
yeah,
know
you could
I
ask
do.
for help. Ask for help instead of demand this or that response. And then be
Yes,
open to the reply instead of insisting the reply only matters if it's this. The election only counts if I win. You can't do that.
right. But when you get what you asked for, whether you wanted it or not,
You got it.
always say thank you.
Mhm.
Always say thank you.
To have an opportunity to learn how to be a better version of ourselves, it's a gift. A lot of people don't get that opportunity. They
Hmm.
go through life, with their nose in the mud pile and they don't look up. But anytime we're upset about something or something makes the hair on the back of our neck stand up, it's an opportunity to just stop and release that little tension. Remember that it was a battle long ago,
I'm
that
gonna.
maybe it doesn't fit today. Let it go.
We are out of time, but I'm gonna say
Oh,
something here. What you just said is the perfect endpoint because to have the opportunity to improve yourself for others or yourself, whatever it might be, is a gift. And we don't
it
look at it
is.
that way. Yeah. Because, tomorrow's not guaranteed, but you get there, you have another opportunity,
Mhm.
maybe to do it right. Maybe, you're not proud of whatever happened in your past and you want to do it better, then do it better. You have that gift. We don't look at it that way. And that's pretty
Yeah, we
powerful.
all talk about free will and act like it's just a myth, but we do have that opportunity. We choose how to respond. Even when it really riles me and I break out in a cold sweat and I hate it and my stomach whirls, it's how I'm responding to something.
Mm.
And for me, I need to pay attention to what the real cause is rather than just one more symptom. I need to pay close attention so that I grow into wisdom by remembering my total knowledge. You too. We've survived the past, we'll survive the future. The past was great, let's expect a great future. We can make huge transitions this year. And as we transition from one thing to the next, just let it drop. Don't look back. Some of the best advice in the whole Bible book was don't look back. Don't be
Uh,
pinned to your history.
that's the
Go
second
forward. Let
time.
it grow you forward.
That's the second time today. Make it the third time today that those words, those three words just came up for me. because I was at the gym. Heard the song "Don't Look Back" by Boston, which came out late
Wow.
70s. Okay.
hmm
Came up in a conversation after that, "Don't Look Back," just about an hour ago, and you just said it again. It's almost as if universe is saying, everybody, don't look back. Just move forward. Don't look back.
Yeah, if there's a way to split humanity, it's the ones who look forward and the ones who refuse to let go of the past.
Yeah. Let go.
Grow forward.
Go
Life
forward.
is beautiful. Let me tell you, once you get your land legs, life does pretty good things.
So if Spirit or anybody wants to contact you, Janis, how do they do that?
Well, I could meet you by the dock by the bay, but my boat's up short. Email me, goddessjanis@hotmail.com. You know what? You can Facebook me at Janis Reed, too.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't even think of that. All right. I'm going to
I
friend
didn't
you.
even think about that until, like, why not? Everybody else does. Facebook me. Heck, I'm an old person. I don't do Twitter. I'm not a twit. I'm not, I don't do I only do Facebook and
No
emails.
Instagram, but
let's use
Facebook is good.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook, Janis Reed, goddessjanis@hotmail.com. Today, my sensitivities are so strong, you could probably stand out in the road and talk to me and I'll hear you.
I don't doubt that for a second. And here it is, a brand new year. So don't look back, move forward.
Let's go forward.
Yep.
Let's grow from our past instead of be held back by it.
Absolutely. Always great talking with you. I love your energy, the everything you bring. It's good stuff.
Did you like my sea story?
I did.
Oh, good. I made it up just for you.
I don't think you made it up, though. That's the thing. I can't wait till we get together again soon.
Well, enjoy the rest of the week. Don't look over your shoulder. My Uncle Joe used to race motorcycles around in the oval circle, and he was always ahead, but he was such a drinker. He'd get worried about who was behind him and look around over his shoulder and run over his left foot every time. Don't look back.
Don't look back. All right, Janis, we'll talk next time, okay?
Oh, be good. Bye.
You too.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.